Marks lead the play. MiniWarGaming Speed, the cooler, bat rap.
Cast turn 2 begins, and once again rolling for his daemons to come in. Now he's just rolling from reserves, and of course everything comes in, including his other obliterators. Fate Weaver scatters once again, just going off into the building here, and he does scatter quite a ways, but he's safe standing right there. The Blood Crushers, he goes for a more open area, and they scatter, but they do just kind of land on the building, which is a dangerous terrain check for each guy who lands on it. So he passes his dangerous terrain, and the rest of them all pile in, but he does have to do a few more dangerous, just because of where they would land. So he puts one over on the far side of the building, which I said was fine, no big deal, because it's basically a ruin, and that one passes its dangerous terrain as well. The Obliterators come in, and the group of horrors pop up as well. They scatter a little bit, landing right beside the Fate Weaver, but they also all land nice and easy around it. After that, his Obliterator tries to deep strike, and it scatters way off, hitting the tank and going back in reserve, I believe. And then the other units, they all kind of move around. This Obliterator moves around on top of the building, and the other Abaddon walked over and joined the Daemons. Now he's getting out of his transport with his plasma gun team, and we just did the run at the same time, I believe, so that's why they're moving so quick. And the other, so they all get placed, I think it was like 11 inches out. They all ran up. Now he's shooting at my Fire Warriors with all of the horrors, and he gets quite a few shots, and they are AP4, but thankfully we're behind a wall, and a few of these are hitting, I had to roll these separately, because after they hit the Fire Warriors, they're going to start hitting my commander, and I actually want them to, because he's a 2-up, 4-up, and he has Feel No Pain, so why not let him take the hits. Now he's shooting his Obliterator at my tank, and he fails to do anything, shoots the other one at the tank, and does do a glance with the Flamethrower off of the Fate Weaver. Fires the rest of its shots, because apparently it can shoot multiple units, just like good old target lock that doesn't do that anymore. But that happens, and he shoots my commander, who makes his saves, or makes one of his saves anyway, and then takes a wound. And now the other Obliterator shoots the Hammerhead, it misses, and the guns on the tank try and shoot, and they fail as well. Now he's shooting at the Fire Warriors teams with a few random bolt gun shots. It's twin length, that's why he's rolling 2. And if he misses with 1, then he misses with 1. But I fail my armor save, and that Fire Warrior goes down. And then he runs with his Daemons there, that unit of them, and they all move about 3 inches, getting a little bit closer, because really, once they get into close combat, that's about it for my group of unit, or my Fire Warriors. They do pass their leadership, though. Thankfully, the commander was there. Not that they needed it, because they got Snake Eyes anyway. Fight goes on, Ethereal goes down, and with that, my army does its morale checks, and beginning of Tau turn 2 now. So as I had said at the beginning, I did do the Ethereal wrong, and I gave the battle suits that are going to be coming in from reserve also the ability to reroll on the ones, so that shouldn't have happened. You'll see how much of an effect that has in this game, but future reference, it does not affect. It only affects the units that are on the table, and it only affects units that actually took the test, regardless of if you pass or fail. So even if you failed and then rallied after, you do get the preferred enemy, but if, for example, you're in a transport, or if the Ethereal dies in a transport, then you do not get the effect of the Ethereal being killed on your army. So it's both plus and minus. Anyway, that's what happened there, and then the battlesuits came in, they deep striked, and now the Fire Warriors are all moving up, grabbing the relic, holding it there. The Hammerhead with the railgun moves just a little bit, wanting to be able to shoot all of its gun. The other Hammerhead moves closer, and I start dropping the large blasts. I get one shot into the little Daemons there, and it scatters a bit, because I can't shoot the Fate Weaver, because he's technically flying right now. And I fire the rest of my guns at the little Demons too, so we get a couple of hits, couple wounds. But he does have a 4-up invuln, and he gets to re-roll that invuln because he's near a Fate Weaver, even though Fate Weaver's flying. So I only actually do 2 wounds, but at least I do a few. Now my marker lights start firing away, trying to light up those juggernauts, because I'm going to make everyone around them as high ballistic skill as possible, because I do not want to miss any shots, and see if I can wound as much as I can. So the other marker lights fire as well, and I think I pile up a good pile of 8 or 9 total marker lights, all those little red dots, and see I scatter them all out for when I go unit by unit who's getting the ballistic skill buffs, and pretty much everyone who shoots at them is going to be ballistic skill 5. So He does try to do the changeling to make my battlesuit team shoot something else, but he fails at it, so that shot works, and they shoot the daemons anyway. Bunch of hits, bunch of wounds, but he has a 3-up armor save and then a 5-up invuln, so he's getting saves regardless, but we do 2 wounds. The next wave of battlesuits shoots, and at this point I actually forgot that they would have, well actually I did it correctly right there. Those battlesuits, they were done right. They should not have rerolled, and they did not. Rolling to wound, once again rolling to save. They do another 3 wounds, so we take down another one. Now the fire warriors fire, or the other battlesuit and the fire warriors. And these guys should get the reroll because they were on the table, so they did it right, and the battlesuits had done it wrong. And yeah, so a whole bunch of shots here, once again firing away, and he's got to make a bunch more saves, but he does make most of them. Only 1 wound on them. Now the ion head shoots, firing its ion cannons as well as its burst cannons, and they get a couple wounds, but he makes those saves. Oh, all but 1, so he does take a wound again, and another daemon gets hurt. Now my other fire warrior team, I'm starting to run out of units here, and they were on the table, so they will get the reroll, and they're wounding on 4s, and then he gets a 3-up save against that, but they reroll the wound as well, because preferred enemy is really good. And so he does fail another save, so he's down to just 2 blood crushers, and I shoot it once again with another ion cannon. All of them hit, and wounding on 2s, and get a couple wounds, but he does make all of his invulns. On a 5-up on 3 dice, so that happened. Shooting my fire warriors at the obliterator up on the hill, they actually do a wound to it, so it's down to 1 wound. And now my commander, he moves only 1d6 because he's wearing iridium armor, and the battlesuits, they all get to move 2d6 as normal. So they kind of jump away because I'm hoping I can get far enough away that the blood crushers won't just kill my entire army this turn. And the other team, of course, they move as well, but they don't get very far either. So we'll see what we can do about dodging them as we move into Chaos turn 3. So Chaos turn 3, those obliterators, they're coming back after failing to arrive last time. They get a direct hit this time and show up in the middle of the road. Then his bikers come around the corner there, heading straight for my hammerhead, and they are almost definitely going to blow it up. Then his obliterator rallies, or rather he's moving through difficult terrain. He rallied last turn and moves up, and the blood crushers, they move up as well, and Abaddon goes off on his own. He's still pretty close, but he's off on his own for all intents and purposes. And this rhino moves up and turns, and the plasma marines jump out of the back of it 6 inches running up, because they're going to be shooting me as well as we get in this little close quarters gunfight before he charges in and kills everything, most likely anyway. And Fate Weaver continues flying because he is flying, so he's got to move a minimum of 12 for the flying beast. And the daemons there, they all move up underneath the building just to get into the cover, as well as being able to get into better range. So they move as close as they can, and they also wanted to be within the Fate Weaver's reroll your failed invulns. He does a flamethrower here that I didn't realize he had. Basically it wounds almost automatically. He does it's either a 4-up or a 2-up, and he kills almost all of them. And a few other shots he does, they try going to ground, they fail, so all but one of them is left. Just the little squad leader's alive. But he's carrying a bonding knife, so if he breaks, at least he can come back. And now he tries to charge or shoot at my battlesuits with his twin-link plasmas on the obliterator. That's what they're called. Then he fires a large blast or a small blast from a plasma cannon, hitting a few of those little fire warriors once again, and they just disappear. And hits the tank, but the tank is okay. Now he shoots his plasma guns at the bolt guns at the surviving fire warrior, but fails to wound. Then fires the other bolt gun at my battlesuit commander, who he hits and does a wound to, and he fails his save, but he makes us feel no pain, so he's okay. And now the bikes, they shoot their combi weapons into the tank, and they do one more glance, so it's down to 1 hull point left. And all of the little Zinch guys shoot at the commander with their assault 3 shots, so a whole bunch of dice are getting rolled as he tries to kill this heavily armed battlesuit. But he only does 1 wound, which I save. And now he shoots his tanks, or his other obliterator, another large or small blast at my infantry here, but it scatters and misses, just barely. Now Abaddon charges, but he gets to re-roll, And I try and... Oh no, sorry, he's shooting his bolt gun is what was going on. Then he shoots his plasma guns at my battlesuits, does a bunch of wounds, and actually gets hot and loses one of his guys. But I lose one and take a wound on my other battlesuit. Then his obliterator tries to charge, but I get to stand and shoot, and we get a bunch of shots. And then we realize at this point that technically I should have done the leadership checks, which they actually fail. So I didn't stand and shoot there, and he did make it. And they run 14 inches away, and the other battlesuit runs 17 inches away and lands right up on top of the landing pad, or the other two battlesuits. And then the Fire Warrior, he fails his leadership as well, so he goes scurrying 8 inches away. And there you go. So most of my army's now on the run, and we just decided that we'd go from like that. And the Blood Crushers, they charge into the tank, and Abaddon charges my commander. Commander gets to stand and shoot, and he does get the reroll because he was on the table, but he does hit and does do a wound. And Abaddon fails his save, so he's up by 1 already, even though it doesn't count towards combat resolution, but whatever. And now he attacks in the tank with his bikers as well, who easily make that charge. And they have grenades and a melt-a-bomb, so it's bad news for that tank. My flechettes go off, and they do a wound on each of the guys, and actually do a wound to one of the Blood Crushers, which was great. But they attack at strength 6 and absolutely destroy that tank. Just gone, one fell swoop. Then the bikes, they go after my other tank. Its flechettes go off, but fail to do a wound, and he fails to do anything really with his grenades. But now Abaddon goes after my commander with like 11 or 12 attacks that are all instant death, and they're all invulns only, so I don't even get feel no pain, which I didn't realize until afterward, so I'm dead. Warlord kill, point for Abaddon. And he rolls off on his crazy chart, which I think gave him fleet, or something like that. Gave him fleet or feel no pain, one of those two that makes him even better than he was. So here we are at the end of Chaos turn 3, just before we go into the next part here, so stay tuned for part 3 and see if the Tau can hold on.